Steph, how are you doing? I cannot hear you.
Hang on one second.
I can now.
You
Yes.
can hear me now? Okay, good.
Good, good, good. How are you doing?
I am doing well. It's a beautiful day today. Where I'm in Connecticut. Where are you located?
I am in Queens, New York.
Oh, okay, so you're not too far away.
That's
Yeah, it's
that's right.
it's gotten to be so nice out. I'm like I feel like one day I have the heat on and then the next I'm sweating, so
Yes,
can't
yes,
keep up.
yes, yes. Right. These are the, modulations, I would say, of temperature. The other day it was, really hot in the day. In the night it was freezing.
hmm
Yeah. So tell me, how's your day going so far?
I'm going well. Actually just went to go visit my grandfather, and my mother, she just came back from Florida. My
That's
mom, her and her husband are snowbirds, so just came back. Yeah, went to go see them for a bit, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I'll be back on my grind.
Sure, sure. Okay, so
How about you?
going. Oh, yeah, my day is going great, and yeah, when I think this is the best part of my work these days, that I get to meet people and get to talk to people and exchange ideas, because when I'm designing a product or an app or a SaaS, then you are into it, and you just, like you said, grind.
You got the blinders on, right?
Yes, and it's in and out. Sometimes you need to take a break. Sometimes the ideas are coming at a wrong time, and then you have to skip your gym and keep sitting.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the story of startup guy. Tell me, I was going through Upbeat. Tell me a little bit about Upbeat, and tell me your superpower.
All right. Oh, I like that question. Okay. So Upbeat is my marketing agency. We kind of call ourselves a creative and digital studio, right? So we really run the gamut. We work with primarily small businesses,
Mhm.
really all over the shop, all over the country, actually. I have clients, I have a client in Florida, I have a client in California, I have some that are a little bit more local to the Northeast.
Sure.
And they run the gamut of anything from e-commerce, right? I have one client who has a jewelry brand,
Mhm.
one that has a med spa, so
Mhm.
some that's like local, like those local service businesses. I have one that is a law firm. So we are really all over the shop in that regard, but at its core, what we do is we work very, very closely with each and every client. We're full service, but I'd say boutique in the fact that we keep a fairly small client base, so that way myself personally can be the one that is responsible for working with them week over week, creating the strategy, and being the one behind. If I'm not solely executing it, I am overseeing it and managing it day to day, and really making sure that everything's going effectively. So I'd say that's kind of the differentiator, right, between working with, say, one of those large agencies. Maybe they have tons of resources and plenty of people at their disposal, but a lot of clients, they'll complain about getting sort of passed around,
Right.
from account manager to account manager, and they're not necessarily speaking to the one that is truly in the muck with them building the campaign. So
Right.
I'd say that in one way is the superpower. And the biggest one, though, I'd say is that I care,
Yes.
right? It's
Yes.
not just a numbers game to me. These are people, these are business owners, founders, right? That, sometimes they're startups that are, even I can empathize with them because I'm going through my own startup journey, right? And, it's, it's not just a company, it's people that you're working with. So I'd say that's my superpower, is that I really truly care a whole hell of a lot.
Right, right, right. I mean, when I was doing my doctorate in image marketing, I studied that land, labor, and capital, were the three main resources. But now I think in those days we were investigating, or exploring that management probably is the fourth factor of production. And but now, after listening to what you just said, I realized that attention is basically your your product basically that you are selling. And not only that you're selling, it differentiates you because, like you said, you provide a personalized solution. You care, like you just said. So in other words, you're giving your undivided attention.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's actually an interesting parallel I've never really thought about, right? There's the attention economy on one end is that, yeah, I'm what the service is and the solutions that I'm selling is bringing attention to, to brands.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you're right. It's also that I'm paying attention, that my agency is paying attention. And we're not just doing cookie cutter solutions, but we're really going in there and trying to be innovative and creative and, not just say, okay, yeah, you just need SEO and like then just shut the door from there.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I mean,
I'm gonna put my
uh,
AirPods on one second.
sure,
I
sure, sure.
totally forgot to.
Yeah.
That way there's not an echo.
Okay.
All right.
You hear me now?
I can hear you,
Okay.
yes.
So, no, I totally agree with you because attention is not only a trade secret, but fortunately, luckily, with the advent of AI, I think agencies like Upbeat will be in much demand because it's the real attention. And, whether it is notifications, whether it is emails, whether it is clickbait, whether it is sign-ups, it's all about craving attention. And fortunately for people who live in the paradigm of attention, it's a blessing in disguise because one thing AI cannot do is give you attention. It just processes whatever is fed into it, and then it gives you the best solution.
No, you're right. I mean, it sure as hell could seem like it sometimes, right? There's I keep reading more and more stories of especially like younger generations, like Gen Z, they're kind of using ChatGPT as a therapist. So
Yes.
they feel like it's paying attention, but
Yes.
it's really only just giving you feedback, like you said, based off of exactly what you're inputting into it.
Yes.
And to take it even further, I actually just read, not to go kind of too off the rails on this topic, but I actually just read a prompt that somebody put in. I think I saw it on Reddit
Mhm.
last night, and it was people are noticing more and more, and you've probably noticed this as well, that AI is very agreeable.
Mhm.
It tends to not want to deviate from what your opinion is, and
Yes.
will just give you a feedback loop,
Yes.
almost like an echo chamber, right? It's kind of like people love it because it'll act like your cheerleader.
Right.
But what happens when you want a counter opinion? So it gave me this detailed prompt to basically say, "Hey, ChatGPT,
Yeah.
cut the crap. I don't want the fluff.
Yep.
I don't want the, oh, you're great. You're doing a wonderful job. Tell me everything that I'm doing wrong. Tell me
Yes.
everything that I'm not seeing that
Yes.
maybe over time, right? Because, the algorithm, I mean, they've definitely gotten to know me because
Yes.
I do use AI quite often
Yeah.
for everything. And they called me out.
Yep.
ChatGPT really called me out. And so anyway, I mean, not so much attention based, but I think that is something that people need to pay attention to is
That's
you
right.
don't want to just keep getting the same feedback loop over and
That's
over again.
That's right. I mean, a friend of mine, Danielle, she prefers ChatGPT over telehealth because she thinks that my doctor is too scared to, attend me. Is too worried about his or her license, and they don't care about the side effects. They're not. It comes to a point where it's not even treating the symptoms. But
Or
ChatGPT.
there's new symptoms, right? Because
Yeah.
of whatever the treatment is.
Yes, and also in conjunction with the pharmacist the medicine medication that is given, there are times when they're not working because the side effects are overwhelming. However, at the ChatGPT side, it does give you a wide description of based on whatever is available in big data. However, it comes back to the point that we want our doctors to look less at their computers and more attend us. So the old fashioned, holding the wrist and feeling the pulse and looking into the eyes and taking the temperature, all those old school things are coming back.
Right. I mean, as they should, right? Because when it comes to attention in general, I think where there's going to be a huge shift, and I feel like there already is just having there be those true personalized human experiences, right? Because we spend more and more time in front of screens, and the more that we can, tap into things that are truly human, I think, people have such a fear of AI taking their jobs, but yes, you are going to have to be tapped into AI and be very knowledgeable to be able to stay ahead.
Yeah.
But there's things like that, right? Like a robot, AI, ChatGPT, at least as of now,
Right.
cannot go grab your wrist and look you in the eye,
Right.
or, be able to notice things in your body that, I mean, essentially, if you're using ChatGPT
Yeah.
to diagnose things,
Right.
you're basically, I mean, that's like a less scary version, I'll say, of
Yeah.
going on MedMD
That's
and
right.
self-diagnosing yourself.
That's right.
Luckily, ChatGPT, I think they tend to their bedside manner is a little better. It's not like, oh, you have a cough today? Yeah, you have cancer, right?
That's
It's
right.
not really like that. But yeah, no, you're right. That's a very good point.
I mean, if the thing is, if jumping the hoops of, like for example, my friend today, my co-founder wrote an article about, uh, every post now almost is AI generated. And then the point is for agencies such as yours, it's not only your product, you have to align it with the viewers' attention, because in the old days there was media planning and there was media buying, and that you should have these billboards and outdoors and all these part of the campaign. But at the end of the day, if it's not churning out the analytics were not as accurate earlier like it is today. For example, you can get ratings from television, but apart from that, the outdoor and other below the line activities, you could not assimilate what's going on.
Mhm.
However, now that with social media and online analytics of tracking, ad tracking is streamlined. I think it's not only for agencies like you have to backward engineer as to come up with stuff that is going to engage and in not only in terms of keywords and the visuals that audience want to see, but also their psychological patterns.
Right. Yeah. And to your point, right, I'll start kind of with what you said about so much on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Virtually everything feels like it's AI generated or regurgitated. Even the comment sections,
Oh my
you
God.
see AIs talking to each other. That's a whole other level. And don't get me wrong, I understand why a busy founder would want to implement such things as like some sort of quick solution because yes, then you're flooding a news feed and you are getting more people's attention.
Right.
But are you getting the right attention or are you just going to get more, if you're just going to get more AI generated comments attention,
That is
right?
right.
So it really is getting to the point where AI or LinkedIn seems like kind of a wasteland of AI
That's right.
generated content and people just trying to jump on the bandwagon. But then to your point, when it comes to paid media,
Yeah.
um, this is what it's interesting because, when you talk about billboards, right, the traditional way of doing things, you buy an ad slot on television or in a newspaper.
Mhm.
Um, those were one to all messages, right? You essentially just wanted to say something that would just speak to as wide of an audience as possible because it could be anyone driving by and seeing it or anyone watching that TV. Um, yes, you want to speak to your target audience, but you'd have to keep it so broad, right?
That's right.
Whereas with social media ads and pay-per-click advertising, you can get very granular, with all these data and analytics that we have. And um, that is something that's where there's the art and there's the science,
That's
right?
right.
It's getting really granular about understanding who your target audience is.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of small business owners
Mhm.
kind of overlook. They might want to, maybe they just dump a bunch of money into Google ads, right? Or a Facebook ad because they see their competitors doing it.
Yeah.
But what a lot of people that try to DIY it, I think, fail to recognize is how important it is to get really granular with who your target audience is and think outside of the box too, right? Sometimes it's not just those very very obvious, glaring things, but it might be things that come from doing really deep listening and really deep research into what people are saying, right? The challenges that they're facing, and
Yeah.
being able to speak to them on like a deep psychological level to the point of where they cannot help but click on that ad because it feels like it's speaking right to them, right? The same way that when somebody, says like just talk about, I don't know, say they just talked about what's the first that comes to mind? I don't know. They say they need the baby powder that they're using for their child isn't working lately and they
Mhm.
need something better.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, now they just see that come up on their phone and they think, oh my God, is my phone just listening to me?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe you know better than I do. I'm not quite sure if that is necessarily the case or if it's just that
Mhm.
they've created such a deep, like avatar, such a deep profile of who you are
That's right.
that they can anticipate your needs before maybe even right?
Right.
Before you even talk about them. And I think that's at the core when it comes to paid media
Mhm.
really what is important. And I think that's where a lot of people miss the mark is getting a lot deeper,
Right.
right? It's not scary that we have all this data. I mean, I get it. It's
Yeah.
scary that we're being tracked so much. It's a lot. Um, but the more that you understand how to leverage it, the more, yeah, you almost want people to feel like you are listening to them.
Right. I mean, coming back to your point when you mentioned off the rail, it's really important. As my friend Amin Noorani also, mentioned in his article that going on tangents is, for me, it's what recognizes as human written, because what AI cannot do is, cross-referencing based on psychological patterns and intrinsic values, because you can, for example, uh, after DMing or just, for example, the comments that are flooded with AI. So it's not really gaining attention because AI is talking is to AI. And yeah, so the real psychological pattern or the psychographics that you wanted to hit, they are not hitting. A bunch of robots are talking to other bunch of robots. So the
It's just noise. It's
yeah.
just fluff.
Yes, and it's not converting. For example, like I said, talking to you in this long format, tomorrow I can be your client as a startup as well. So now the attention span has to be, back to square one, because as you might know that, our attention span is now 8 seconds, 1 second more than the goldfish. And uh,
Yeah, that is probably not far off. Is that actually statistically
that's
true?
that,
Because
that's right.
I
That's right. Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is wild. That really is
Right. Only till last year it was 40
so
seconds.
much stimuli. Yeah.
Yeah. So from in 2004 it was 2.5 minutes, and before you, I was speaking to someone who was used to work at TikTok, and she said no, she was feeling guilty as charged for working at TikTok. I said no, it's not the TikTok, it's the notifications, it's the distractions. That
Right. And if it wasn't TikTok, it was going to be just another platform, right?
yeah,
I mean, short form video has definitely, I'd say it's definitely done a number and on,
yes,
on all of us, but I'd say especially, not to be targeting Gen Z and Gen Alpha, but I mean, imagine growing up, especially, and maybe not so much Gen Z because they are older, but they're,
yeah,
still most of them have still
yeah,
developing brains. And you just have this constant stimuli. You could just swipe, 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 swipe. Something captures your second for attention for a millisecond, but that's all you even need.
that's right,
It's reinforcing. That's all you need to get these
right,
quick
right,
dopamine hits.
right.
And yeah, it's. Again, though, if it wasn't TikTok, somebody else would have come along and they would have figured that out. They absolutely would have.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
the thing is that everything, like you mentioned, Gen Z, uh, everything is expected to be instant these days, and like the dopamine hit you just mentioned. But when it comes to substance and it comes to sustainability, yeah, all the knowledge that you have was not, accumulated in a month's time or even a year's time. It took a lot of practice, a lot of exercise, a lot of devotion, a lot of conviction, and again, a lot of attention. So, and doing a long form thing like this, it requires, loads of study and observation and experience. So it's not going to, substitute in any way, because the bottom line is that slow is durable.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Like because
and you could go deeper,
yeah,
so
yeah,
much deeper that way.
yeah. Because the thing is that algorithms can adapt. For example, the way YouTube has reinvented over the years itself, and it has remained relevant. And same is with Facebook. I really admire Mark Zuckerberg, and with so much attention, being under the microscope all the time, and whether it is Facebook comments wars, or the swinging the trends, but the way he always reinvents, and whether it is, and just make huge categories irrelevant. For example, there used to be something called these buying used stuff buying apps like OfferUp, like Swappa.
Hmm.
Now
eBay,
everything is, yeah, and now it is all marketplace, Facebook
right?
marketplace.
Oh, marketplace though. I've have you ever bought or sold anything on marketplace?
I have loads.
Oh, you have? That takes, see, speaking of attention, that takes a great deal of patience.
Yeah, yes.
There's been things I've wanted to sell on there. I think I bought one thing. I bought a dresser from there,
Okay.
which ended up being great. It was like a refurbished one. The woman specialized in it. She repainted it, and it was lovely. But if you're trying to sell something, is
Yeah,
this still available? Is this still available? And then, you reach back out to them, you don't hear from them. It's a lot.
that's
It's a
right,
lot. So
that's right.
I do miss, I used to sell on eBay literally when I was like a kid, like when I was like a young teenager,
Okay.
I would sell some stuff on eBay. And I do miss that at least it was a little bit more, I guess, streamlined.
Okay.
And not just having to sift through a million messages and
Right.
people that are half interested or are trying to cut you a deal, or trying to
Right.
get a deal.
Right. Yeah, of course, if you want to get rid of something, then Facebook Marketplace is great, because you just put a price to just move something from somewhere,
Right. It's like
then,
just take it off my hands.
yes, and
Like,
then
yeah.
people are really interested. I agree with you. But what I was trying to come to was that these fake AI comments and counter comments, and at some point, I think whether it is LinkedIn, I think it's mostly LinkedIn, where people are trying to impress each other in a very template manner, very standardized manner. So, but I think at some stage they will have to come up with an algorithm which is more organic, because like for example, the way Amazon encountered all these fake reviews was that, the way somebody buys a product has an organic pattern. They go here and they
Mhm.
go there, they click here. But if somebody is just clicking the link and then just directly buying, that means,
Immediately.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the review. So I think those kind of aspects will have to be investigated, or explored, because what's the point if you're not getting the real attention, or if some
Right.
not prompt someone to buy something actually, or actually focus their attention to what you're trying to add value to, is then the it's lost exercise.
No, you're right. Because, I mean, something's going to have to give because it's not sustainable. Because if more and more people just continue to schedule out AI generated posts and
That's
then not even use the platform, but just go on and have AI go in and parse through and leave comments, there, I mean, they must see engagement times dropping significantly from that. I mean, they have to see that. So something, if I'm sure there's got to be some, top tech people
yeah,
at LinkedIn that are looking to solve this problem because it really has become like a wasteland.
that's right.
Um, and it's either AI or people talking about AI, which I understand because AI is all the rage, right? I mean, we're talking about it right
Yeah.
now, but it really it isn't sustainable. And I'll be candid. I'll be honest here and I'll take the onus on the fact that I mean I definitely use AI to at least spark some ideas or help expand on things.
Mm,
I never will just solely allow AI to just never to generate comments ever.
mhm,
And I will never just have AI just do it from end to end and post for me.
mm,
I will look through everything, I create everything myself, like,
mm,
and I always ensure that it injects, my true voice and my true thoughts, not just what AI is regurgitating. But to that end, yeah, I mean, I feel like even for myself, I've noticed that just the impressions are down, which
mm.
I mean, if the impressions are down, that means no one's even seeing half
Yes,
of the stuff I put out. And they've really been cutting back. I feel like they've been just like closing the tap off on
that's right.
impressions. Have you noticed that?
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. I mean,
Significantly.
yes. I mean, in my case, I just keep it extremely. Another pressure on LinkedIn is that everybody wants to be very corporate. Maintaining the decorum and trying to
Yeah.
be formal. I try to remain informal, but at the end of the day, Steph, the bottom line is if you are getting 15 real impressions and if 10 people are actual real people are getting engaged, then it's not really the numbers game, it's it's the attention game.
You're right. Yeah, because there are people that see them and they will then go and comment, or they'll, if they don't actually physically comment on the post, they'll,
Yeah.
remark. Like I have, an old a program director, um, from my university where I got my master's program. And he just emailed to me today, like, oh, I really like the insights, your post you've been putting up on LinkedIn. He's
Mhm.
not engaging with them per se, but that is engagement. And that's the type of engagement that you genuinely want, not just, oh, well, I'm going to show up at the top of everyone's feed so a bunch of bots can
Right,
engage with my post.
right. So tell me a little bit about your career before beat a beat.
Sure. So I have been in marketing, I'd say on and off for about nearly a decade now, maybe a little more.
Mhm.
Um, After I graduated from college, I was working in recruitment. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to go into. I studied journalism, knew that wasn't the direction I wanted to go in. But anyhow, um, worked as a recruiter, moved to New York City,
Mhm.
ended up working for Indeed, actually selling recruitment advertising to recruiters, very meta.
Mhm.
Um, so I was doing that for a while, and then this at this point I was in my early 20s, and saved up a little bit of money, no kids, no house, no mortgage. So I said, you know what? I want to go and travel the world. I had backpacked around Southeast Asia for 2 weeks prior to that.
That's great.
So ended up getting rid of my apartment, selling my belongings, and leaving with a backpack
Great.
and traveled around for over a year. But before I left,
Mhm.
I started a travel blog
Oh, okay.
called theupbeatpath.com,
Yeah, that's great.
hence where upbeat comes from. So I started that blog, and that is actually what really got me full force into marketing because that's when I got really honed in on, social media marketing, SEO, content marketing, networking with like various bloggers, and really I just went all in on it.
Mhm.
And ultimately, some of the blogs that I created
Mhm.
actually started attracting different travel brands
Okay.
and like tour agencies and such to reach out to me to
Mhm.
help them with their marketing.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh, well, I guess I don't just have to be doing this for myself. I could do this for other companies that would find this useful.
Mhm.
So I ended up moving to Vietnam and I was teaching English out there for a couple years in Hanoi.
Mhm.
And I was also freelancing in marketing. Um, anyway, I'll fast forward. COVID hit. We
Mhm.
all know what happened there. I actually went to go visit my family and for all intents and purposes got stuck in America. So I had to kind of start all over again. And that is when I decided to go and get my master's in digital marketing and media from Yeshiva University.
Mhm.
And I'm really glad I did because it took all these tactics, right? Like when was talking about how people can go and they can create a Google ad or what have you, or a Facebook ad. Um, you're being tactical, right? You know that there's something you have to do, but
Mhm.
the overarching, the psychology, the strategy, the really doing that digging that a lot of people don't do. And honestly, a lot of agencies, unless you really pay them a whole arm and a leg, right? Or you're working with like a McKinsey or something, they're not going to want to do. They're just going to kind of take a lot of what's surface level and
Yep.
what you're telling them
Yeah,
and just dump that into the campaign.
that's right.
So that is what I learned a lot of through my master's program is, not necessarily just the tactics, but the overarching, the deep, deep strategy
That's
behind
right.
it.
That's right.
Um, but yeah, so that's kind of the long and the short of it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Oh,
Complete.
no, I mean, I was just gonna say, I want to hear more about your journey and what you're up to.
Sure. Sure. I mean, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you to take that, spiritual retreat, so to say, worldwide traveling, because I'm somewhat of the same background. I also traveled worldwide, and especially I explored West and North Europe, and I've been all over to Asia as well. But what I was observing in again, it has become sort of a silver lining, so to say, or a magic bullet, in the sense that now once again. This on one side there is this instant dopamine hit, and on the other side people are talking about manifestation and programming your future, and so from the tactical to the strategic side, things are moving, because when it is about sustainability, and when it is about long term plans, and keep delivering, because on one side everybody wants everything instant, but then there is this myth and this bubble that when it is not working, and when and if you keep programming it, and it's going to work ultimately. So I'm not sure if you remember how young you were. There was this myth about SEOs as well, oh, there is this new update and it's not working, and it's going to take 6 months, like you mentioned, the McKenzies of the time. So then all the budgets are gone, and then they blame some technology update for that. So my I have a, PhD in image marketing, and I've been into advertising for a long time. Almost a decade ago, I joined this UX and product design, and worked for various private tech and federal agencies as well. And then I launched my U2Go app, and which was initially for mobile. Then I launched the SaaS version, and that is actually working on to reclaim your attention span. It creates streamlined lists of things that you want to do with no distractions, no
I'm like,
notification.
I'm gonna have to download this app.
Sure, yeah, yeah, and it's quick access, and no repetitive steps, and then it's kind of an antidote to the archaic bookmarks, because it's stagnant since 1999, and Chrome did add this option of plus and these tabs, but if you see, it's cumbersome, and it's lethargic, and it's laborious, and it's boring.
You're
So
so right.
yeah, and
And it's distracting. The tabs are distracting.
yes, yes, absolutely. And by the time you reach where, and as especially as techies and technocrats and people from tech background, your what's in your mind and what you want to convert right away is your is your trade secret, is your asset, is your product. But by the time you reach where you want to be, it's gone, and then you have to reboot yourself again. So that's why companies are putting digital, giving digital breaks and all. So with you to go, you can really create this ecosystem where not only you can have an update of what's going on, because now businesses trade in URLs, and whether it's vendors, whether it is clients, whether it is your employees, it's all URLs. So and again, there is no, it's an everyday problem, and nobody's looking into it. So, and also when you copy some important link to your email it to yourself, which is ultra important, you just email it to yourself, or WhatsApp to it to some confidant, or just copy it in your notepad, and then it's gone, because you can't remember the actual URL.
Oh, you're so right. You're so right. And these are the type of problems that I feel like I face every day, right? The only bookmarks that I will actively really even recall that I have are the ones that are right on, on Chrome, right on the bookmark on the bar.
Yes.
Other than that, it may as well be gone forever. In
Yes.
Safari on my iPhone, forget it. I
Yes.
have a couple recipes I've saved on there,
Yes.
never looked at them,
Right.
forgot I even have them.
Yes.
And I don't even bother saving anything because I'm not going to look. I
That's
either
right.
keep the tab open or it's just gone forever.
That's
Guess
right.
it wasn't that important then, right?
That's right. So ever since the launch of U2Go, I saw Facebook coming up with this option of, would you like to save this link for future reference? And when you take a screenshot, they ask, do you want to email it? Do you want to, WhatsApp it to someone? So, and now just yesterday I saw that Chrome has this option of creating a list of all the tabs that you had recently opened. So now this is a little bit late for this innovation, but again, I'm glad that they are on the route, and we are trying to go to Mars, but there is this everyday problem that needs to be solved, and don't have to reinvent the wheel, so to say. So that's what U2Go does, and that's one of my products. And then I have recently launched this organ donation app called Life Immortal. And what it does is that you can sign up as a donor or a recipient, and then you can match for whatever you're looking for, and then have an audio call, video call, chat, and set up an appointment with doctors, and
Oh, that's wonderful.
so that's the but it's more on philanthropic side, because again, this problem should have been solved decades ago. But this, the waiting list procedure to for organ donation, because in many cases the organs are expired, and the organs are rejected, and they're so there is so much that needs to be done.
And
Uh,
they don't currently have like a streamlined system to be
yes,
getting these organs out to
right.
people ASAP.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's a huge problem.
yes,
That's enormous.
it is, and because of the myths, and because of stigmas, and ethnic, qualms about or inhibitions, this has, I think, I don't know why nobody ever did it, but I'm glad I took the ownership of this idea. And it took me a lot of pain, but again, it was nothing in comparison to what I was anticipating, because the waiting list procedure is extremely bureaucratic and archaic, again, based on, of course, the laws. And we follow the, I was speaking to someone yesterday, last week, that America pioneers, and China copies, and Europe regulates. So, in terms of law,
That's right.
yeah, in terms of laws, yeah, I told him that it used to be that Europe used to pioneer, and Japan used to copy, and America used to adapt. But now somehow things have changed. So yeah, so these are the two main products that I have. And but again, I'm on this adventure of see if we can somehow stop, because the speed of losing our attention span is enormous, and it's dangerous as well for our upcoming generations. So I think we have less than a minute. If you like to wrap up, give me something.
No, well, first of all, I will say I think this has been great. I love that you're doing this podcast. Very on brand, by the way, right? And oh, what else?